Hi, Stitchy friends. Welcome. Today is Saturday, March 18th, 2023, and this is floss tube number 2 for Stitching Bunny. My name is Judy, and I'm so glad to have you all here with me again today. Before we get started, though, I do have to mention one thing. I have some thank yous I'd like to send out to so many of you ladies, all you ladies that watched my first video a little over 2 weeks ago and enjoyed it. All of you ladies that watched it and commented. And then, of course, all you ladies that watched it and commented and even subscribed to my channel. It is very humbling that so many of you enjoyed it. I am very surprised, but it was a wonderful feeling. And just a couple more thank yous. One of them to my very new dear friends, whether they like it or not, Brenda and Laura from Brenda and the Serial Starter, who started all of this. I had sent them 2 of my project rolls that are from my business, Stitching Bunny Bags, and they showed them on their video, and they mentioned that I had a video of my own and directed a lot of you ladies to me who had a lot of the same likes that I have as far as our stitching. They just warm my heart. They have been my favorite floss tubers for a long time, and to actually have them mention my video was mind-blowing. The other thank you I'd like to mention is all of you ladies that did go to Stitching Bunny Bags after watching that video and bought everything I had listed. You ladies have received, I'm sure, your project bags and project rolls by now. They were mailed over a week or so ago, so you should all have them. But I've gotten wonderful reviews. Ladies are very pleased with them, and that again is just mind-blowing. That it just makes me feel so good. Unfortunately, it's taken a lot of time away from my actual cross-stitching to do all my sewing and finishing and getting ready for the next time I'm going to list items, which will probably be either April 1st or 2nd. That's a week and a Saturday and a Sunday, and depending on how much stock I have at that time, I'll determine which day I'll be posting things. I'll put something probably on Facebook and Instagram to let you know exactly what day it will be, and maybe a sneak peek on the fabrics. Fabrics are going to be different this time. They'll probably be different every time because I'm using a lot of things from my quilting stash. So I'm never quite sure what's going to grab me that particular week that I'm going to sew, but I'll try and give you a sneak peek so you have an idea what's coming. That really takes care of my thank yous, I think. Just thank you, everyone, for making my heart sing. And hopefully we'll have a good time in this video, too. The one thing I'd like to start off with, I only have one whip because I think we talked about last time on my video that I was going to try and do a 2-week rotation. It seems like I get a lot more done. I'm a lot happier with the 2 weeks, and I get a lot accomplished. So actually the 2 weeks worked out to these exact 2 weeks. Today is the last day of the 2 weeks for this particular whip. And I think I got quite a bit done. This is one I showed as a whip last time. Let's see, it's a better way to show you this way, I think. Let me see if I can get rid of some of that glare. There we go. This is called This Happy Morning by Plum Street. And I had most of the back of the barn finished last time. Actually the dark design I had all stitched in. I was starting to fill in the lighter red so that you could see the petals on the flowers. I did finish all of that. I brought both borders down farther so they're matching the bottom of the barn now. And I started now on this side too, putting in these trees. And this was great. It was a TV project. I was outlining all the trees, and now I'm just going back and filling them in. So it was a great thing to work on while I was watching Yellowstone with my husband and keeping an eye on what was going on that. So that's my whip. Short and sweet. Only whip I had. But we have something different for today since we don't have a whip parade. I thought we would do something a little bit different. The comments, some of the comments, many of the comments you ladies made were in regards to my many FOs that I have. I mentioned for many years I'm not a real good FFOer. I don't get a lot of things finished. Little pillows, little pin keeps, that type of thing, little small quilts that I use to turn my needlework into finished objects. Those I can do, and even those have been slowed because I'm really just working on stitching project rolls right now. So I'm not real good at FFOs, but I'm real good at FOs. And I have projects, stacks of things that are finished that really need to be finished completely. And a lot of you wanted to see some of these things that I've been stitching. Other than my whips from last time, you really don't know what my stitching likes are that well. And you did mention, a lot of you mentioned that we do have the same samplers that we've stitched, the same likes, the same, even the things that aren't samplers, the cute things, the fun things. Obviously, a lot of us have the same taste. So we're going to do an FO parade today. And we're going to start off with a couple of small ones. I have some very good sized samplers that we're going to leave to the end. I'm going to torture you, make you watch all these other ones, these all smaller projects, and let you know. I didn't go to my really old ones. It was embarrassing. Some of those were so old. It was even when I had great eyesight. I remember stitching those, but they were really too old and outdated, and charts that are long gone that nobody really would be interested in. So I've pretty much stuck to the last, I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years. I took off kind of the top of the pile. I think the oldest one I came across, some of these aren't dated, and I've only been keeping record of what I've been stitching, what I've been stitching on, what flosses I've used since I started my book of days last year for the beginning of 2022. It's only since I've started keeping record of anything other than just finishing them and putting them in a pile. So a lot of these are mystery linen. At least all of them, I sat down yesterday and looked up what the name of the charts were. I don't have the charts any longer. Once I stitch something once, I'm not going to stitch it again. And to just file it away in my cabinets, which are small and not a lot of space, it's silly to leave them in there. At my age, there's so many things that I want to stitch. These, the squirrels keep running by my window, and especially with some of my haul that's come in from the last market, it's silly to keep these. So anything that I have here, I no longer have the charts for. I looked them all up, at least got the designer and the chart name, so it's something you'll be able to find. Most of them are pretty recognizable. And those used charts have all gone on to other stitchers who will stitch them. And I think that's a much better use than them sitting on my shelves. So to start off, this first one is Baby It's Cold Outside by Heartstring Samplery. I know it's on 40 count. It's a mystery linen, of course. And I can tell it was done in overdyed cottons. But linen is it's pretty close, I think, there on the screen. I'm surprised. That's a pretty good representation of the color of the linen. But I remember this being a lot of fun to stitch. And I think I mentioned too that I am from Wisconsin. And we really have been hoping for spring. We've had a couple more snowstorms. Well, today when I got up, which was pretty late, about 9 o'clock this morning, it was 18 degrees here, and we're having snow flurries. So I thought this was a good one to start off with. My husband doesn't even want to walk the dogs because it's so cold out. So that was my first one. I'm going to try to be organized here and see if we can do this, and you're still going to be able to see them. This is the Blackbird, and I know this will look familiar to your ladies. It's Feast of Friendship by Blackbird Designs. It's on 36 count, I don't know what. And it's all in overdyes. Love this piece. And it really deserves to be finished and out for Thanksgiving, because my husband and I do the whole Thanksgiving dinner, just the two of us for our doggies. And it needs to be out with my Thanksgiving decorations. So we're going to work on these. I've got a challenge out to myself. That there's two things I have stitched that are just easy finishes. One of them is going to be a cushion that goes into a little wooden bed. It's got a stitched piece on it as a blanket. And the other, I bought a little frame. I think I paid like $1.50 for it at one of the Goodwill shops or St. Vinny's, one of them. And it's a wood screen door. And the top of the door is a glass, framed piece. And I found a stitch piece that I have that I believe it's a with a needle and thread. It's over in my stack here, so I'm not sure. But it's a real pretty light pastel colors, a little bird and a tree, and on the bottom it says home. Perfect. It'll fit perfect in that frame. So I promised myself that by my next video, which I'm hoping is every 2 weeks, that I have those two finished to show you, because I'm trying to change my ways and get some finishing done. This next one is by Heart and Hand. It's on 46 count, I don't know what. It's by With Thy Needle and Thread, and it's done again in overdyed cottons. I think that window is kind of a problem. Let me try this. I closed the shade, but it's still coming through with a little glare in it. Let's see if that works a little. That looks a little bit better. This one was a beautiful, fun stitch. The berries, everything about this. What does she do that's not just wonderful? Brenda Gervais, just a gorgeous piece. Again, deserves to be framed, but we're going to work on those, so we'll see. Then this little one, I thought this was so cute. I had to bring this one out too. This is another With Thy Needle and Thread. It's Autumn's Bouquet, again on 46 count something, and done in overdyes. If you haven't noticed, you can probably tell that fall is my favorite stitching holiday after Christmas. I just love the colors of fall. I love fall in Wisconsin. Just, my absolute favorite time of the year. Only pushing out, not pushing out Christmas, but right quick behind it. So that's my little squirrel. Now, I do have a bigger sampler. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I might have to stand up with this one. This was a labor of love, and I just absolutely, absolutely love this piece. And I know this is one that's going to be very expensive to frame, which is why it's still sitting here. This is called Savior's Praise. It's by Shakespeare's Peddler. It's on 40 count something. And it's done in overdyed cottons. I'm going to try to move this out a little bit and use my board, because this is the big girl. Let's see how that works. Let me move her down a little. How's that? See if we can get her all in here. Now let me see if I can move this back, and I'll give you a little bit closer look at her. I did personalize this one in a couple of places. I did use some initials, mine and my husband's. I was also a widow 30 years ago, and so it's my late husband's initials are in there, my parents' initials. Just a lovely piece to stitch. How's that? You kind of get the whole sampler in there. I told you I had a lot of them finished. That one was quite large. Let's see what we have here. This one is too, I'm afraid. It's going to be kind of the same situation here. This is a Blackbird design. It's Merrily, Merrily, We Welcome Spring. It's on 40 count something. It's a nicely over-dyed fabric, whatever. Almost has a green cast to it. And again, it's an over-dyed cottons. I'm going to try my board on this one again. Let's see if that works. If you ladies have any questions on these, I'm probably going through them pretty quick, and I'm not giving you too much information. I'm giving what I have and guessing at the rest. But at least, as I said, you know, blackbirds, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with. This one, too, my doggies, our doggies are my babies. We don't have children. And somehow or other, my doggies usually wind up in my samplers. This one, I can probably tell you it was stitched. Oh, I don't know if I even have a date on this one. But this is when I still had my chocolate lab. Oh no, I'm sorry. My chocolate lab and my yellow lab that were our two 14-year-olds that we had since they were puppies are in here, along with the puppy that replaced them, a little rescue. It's a black and white little dog. That's Lolo. But if you can see, if I can bring it in close enough where the puppies are, let's see. See if you can see that. The black or the yellow one and the brown one both have little halos, excuse me, because they had both passed at this point. But we're still so very much in our hearts that they had to make their, oh, I'm sorry, I did see a date on here, 2018 this one was done. So I know we've lost those puppies a while ago. So you are going to see several that are adapted to add my puppies. And of course, they have to look like my puppies. So this is another one that was really fun. I remember stitching. It's Never Let You Go by Heartstring Samplery. It's 36 count something with over-dyed cottons. And I did this one for my sweetheart, my husband. And this has got the cutest saying. It says, I wish I was a little seed. I'd grow and grow and grow. I twine myself around your heart and never let you go. And I lied. I did this one in 2012. I didn't realize that I had one that was that old. But that's my honey and I. Another great sampler. Heartstring Samplery, another one of my favorite designers. This one I posted not too long ago on Instagram because I actually finished it not too long ago. This is one of the currents. This is Margaret Beatty, I believe it's pronounced, in 1866. It's on 40 count Lakeside Vintage Meadow Rue. And it was all done in DMC. And I had to do this one because of the bunnies. Of course, stitching Bunny. And this did follow the chart exactly. There's something about the ones that Hats does that, because of all the background work that Nicola does and the other ladies that work with her, to get the background stories on these little girls who stitched these pieces originally, I feel that it's the right thing to do in their memory to actually stick, if you're going to stitch a sampler, to stitch it the way the little girl stitched it in her honor. So there's very few of these. In fact, I don't think I've actually changed anything on any of the hats that I've stitched, except maybe, you know, adding my initials and date somewhere small for me to remember when I stitched it. But I really think these, for some reason in particular, need to be stitched the way the little girl did in their honor. That one was a great fun piece. Oh, now we have just a little tiny one. We won't even need the board for this one. This is Happy Birthday America by With Thy Needle and Thread. 36 count vintage country mocha on this one. And it's DMC's and Gentle Arts. This is the little one that should be finished into a drum. And, you know, again, it's something I can do. It's sewing, and there's no reason I can't finish it, except that I just haven't gotten around to it. I have all the finishing items for it. And I'd like to get that one done for the 4th of July. We'll see. We'll see. I hate to make promises I know I'm not going to fulfill. This is a kind of a new one too, actually. This is, excuse me, Anna Morgan, 1845. It's scattered seed samplers and the, excuse me, I do know the linen on this one. This is 36 days, oh, 36 count, I'm sorry, 36 count Days Gone by Silk Weaver. And it's done with DMCs. I also have this thing for little girls on the samplers. It can be the little girls, you know, that what they feel they look like. It's just another homage to the little girls. And I think I did change the color on those doggies to match mine, but they were in there. I didn't add them. Another, oh, this is a Plum Street. It's called Tomato Dame. Love tomatoes. It's on 40 count French blue and fabric by Stephanie's. It's done in Weeks Dye Works. I think is it the Proper Stitcher that has her Tomato Tuesday? What a great idea. There's so many cute tomato charts out there. And again, I love summer tomatoes. So that just kind of screamed my name. Had to do that one. That was fun. Now I've got a couple Blackbird here. These are old ones when I was straightening my sewing room at one point. I started opening old project bags, and it's amazing what I came across. In fact, I have several sitting around me here that I haven't opened probably for a couple of years. So that's going to be one of our floss tubes too, is, you know, what's in the surprise bags. But this is Merry Christmas Ella Vaughn. It's on 40 count something, and it's done with overdyed cottons. Oh, I don't think this is 40 count though. This has got to be about a 36 because it's 2 strands of floss. It might even, you know, this might even be like the original one that came with it. Blackbird did a lot of on the 30 count. And I normally, so this is a while ago. I did just finish this probably last Christmas. The majority of it was done. Oh, yes, it is. It's 2022 I put on there. So the majority of it was done. I think if I had started it now, it wouldn't be 2 strands. I'm not thrilled with stitching with 2 strands anymore. But yeah, that is a great one. And here's another Christmas one. This is another Blackbird. This one is Blessings Be Thine. And it's on 40 count mystery linen. Now this one is small. This is on 40 count. And it's a Gentle Arts threads. Turned out nice and small. I think that would be a real cute cushion in Christmas fabric with nice big Christmas fabric ruffle around it to set on one of my living room chairs for Christmas. I guess I should mention I put up 13 Christmas trees in my little tiny house, and it is just a tiny house, but I'm quite a Christmas nut. This one I did a lot of changing on. It is a reproduction sampler, but I felt a little more comfortable in changing this one. This was for one of my puppies that we had just lost. I have a date on this one. Oh, I must, because this is one of my current doggies. It's on here now. So it must have been finished last year. It's actually, the chart is Charlotte Murdoch, 1815, by Scarlett House. It's a 32 count, picture this plus Oaken. And it was done with silky threads. I've never used silky before, and I kind of enjoyed it on this. I like the way it turned out. This turned out to be a tribute to my doggies. I'll try to put this on my board and see if you can see it a little bit better. These are all the doggies I've had since Rob and I have been married, and we've been married coming up to 28 years. No, it'll be 29 years in November. We're 28 now. But these are the babies that we've had since we were married. Bad job of holding that up. I'm sorry. Should have my little clips here. I'll do better next time, I promise. But the first several doggies are have their little wings all the way down. Actually, the first 5, and the only one that is still with us is the little black dog. That's my little Maddie. She's a 13-year-old. She'll be 13 this coming week. She's a purebred lab, black lab, that we took from a family that couldn't take care of her. And they still come and visit her. They have visiting rights. We've had her 4 or 5 years now. Sweetest dog in the world. And when she came to us, she had this little white muzzle. Her whole little chin and muzzle was white. So we call her Sugar Lips. And she is, just the sweetest little dog. So that is my babies. And on the bottom, there's supposed to be more, of the bands, the design bands. And I put the doggies in there. There were dogs, I believe, in the original chart. But I changed them to look like my doggies. And the wording on the bottom says, "A piece of us went with you." So that was my babies. That's what happens when you don't have children. The dogs become your children, which is fine. We love them to pieces. This one is not too old either. I think I finished this last year. Winter Comes by Heartstring Samplery. It's on 36 count vintage wood smoke by Weeks. Oh, I'm sorry, in Weeks. Using the Weeks threads. Can try this board thing again. It's one of those days where it's snowy, it's cloudy, and then the sun comes out, and it's just enough light to come in my window to make it difficult to see. It kind of shines through the fabric. I just love this one. The border on this was just so much fun to stitch. Such an unusual border. The pines, the cones, the holly, everything on here was just beautifully done. I love the smoke coming out of the chimneys. The little curtains, and is it curtains? Oh, it's candles in the windows. And it's a shame that this one isn't finished. Now up on my wall. Love it. This is a little one. I finished this not too long ago also. This is Mary Amelia's Bird from Quaint Rose Needle Arts on 40 count Newcastle Country Mocha. It's done in Leo and Roxy threads. They're a conversion. And this one, when the young lady that designed or reproduced this from Quaint Rose, finished it in a clock, a white, like an old looking enamel clock that's from Hobby Lobby. And I have the clock and everything, took it all apart, ready to get it, finished, and never got any farther than that. But God, this was another one that was just so much fun to stitch. Beautiful colors. This one I'm not real pleased with. It was my fault. I thought I was going to like this choice of linen, and when I decided I didn't, I was too far along to just scrap it and start over, so I just finished it. This is Summer Jubilee by Blackbird. It's on 36 count impressive linen, and I'm not quite sure who the manufacturer was of this. It was something I think I bought online, and I thought it would really be pretty, but the colors kind of ghost on here. It's done in over-dyed cottons, and I'm sure you ladies are all familiar with this piece. Let me try my board here again. Must be getting dizzy with me moving things around here. Okay, there you go. So that, up in person, you can see enough of it to read what it says, to actually see the flowers, to, the flag. The flag looks nice on it. And that might be where I started, because I'm usually a top center starter. So at that point, that big flower and the flag looked really nice. And then that was a lot of stitching. So moving down from there, when I start doing this border and the alphabet here, and it just wasn't showing, and I just finished it. It's something I'd had for years, and it was, I'm going to do this, and that's exactly. Actually, the color isn't real true to color here. It's almost a lavender. I guess it is a lavender. That is overdyed. I said the colors I thought just would have been so perfect. I guess I could have changed the floss out, but I'm not real good with doing that either. And I kind of trust the designers, especially Blackbird. I just can't imagine changing anything that they had designed, and that Elma is still designing. I see she's got a new book coming out. I can't wait. But yeah, they're kind of like Brenda Gervais. You can't do too much wrong when it comes to their designs, the way they design them and the colors they choose. Just beautiful. This one is called It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. It's from Thistles, and it's done on 40 count eucalyptus, fox, and rabbit. And from Fox and Rabbit, and it's Gentle Arts and DMC. And I did this one mainly because I'm running out of room to put it on my board again, to put up Christmas trees in my house. And with our new dog, who is kind of puppy-ish, even though she's 3 years old now, she's still a little wild. And I put up at least 6 or 7 trees right in front of my picture window, and my main tree is huge. And all the ornaments on that tree are Christopher Radko ornaments, glass ornaments. A lot of them I have from my late husband. A lot of them from my husband has bought me. And they just mean the world to me. So to put that tree up and have my little monster dog run to that front window 4 and 5 times a day, every time somebody walks by, and I could just see that tree falling. It didn't go up this year. None of the trees went up this year, except the little tabletop one that actually is still up. Don't tell anybody that. It's in the living room. It's still up. But I thought, getting back to my story, I'm going to finish this as a 3-dimensional tree, and put it on some type of stand so that I can set it somewhere with my other decorations. I just have to keep adding trees. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's on a real pretty, that looks really gray there in the picture, but it's a real pretty green. Like a celery green. Okay, I'm getting back to a small one here. This is Roses in July by Needlework Press. And I was just playing with silks with this one, actually. It's on 40 count Lakeside Metal Rue. And it's just assorted silks that I had in my stash. It's just a little tiny one. And I have so many cute little tiny frames that I had found at a lot of the thrift stores. I thought, oh, that'd be perfect in one of them. And it's still sitting here, and the little frames are still sitting there empty. But we're going to get to these. We really are. I'm starting to feel real guilty with this. This one, another with thy needle and thread. This is the Rabbit and the Rose. And this one, I'm not sure now that I don't have the chart any longer. I don't know if it was called for the Picture This Plus Murky. It seems to me it must have been, because I don't know that I would have picked this. I don't know. Anyway, it's 40 count Picture This Plus Murky, done in DMCs. Again, it's still, I kind of like it. It's different. I think what's making me not like it at this point is all this excess fabric around it. I think if it was just the piece stitched that way, it'd be really cute. It doesn't seem to be as gloomy looking. I like, the bunny and the flowers and everything on it on this color. But that extra, it seems like the fabric on both sides of it is a lot darker. So once I kind of trim that off and just frame this close, I think I'll like it. Either frame it or make it into a pillow, maybe even a drum. It'd probably be because you really wouldn't see the rest of the drum if I make it chubby enough. It might be an idea. But that was a fun stitch. And again, it was a bunny. Had my name on it. This one I did in 2021, so not too bad. It's called Sit and Stitch. It's Little House Needleworks, 40 count beige linen. So it must be a Zweigart. Called for overdyed cottons. And this is by the ocean, on the beach, under stars I cannot reach, in a car and on a plane, also on a railroad train. I can stitch most anywhere, but really love my easy chair. And I am an easy chair stitcher, so, or couch. It depends on what room I'm in. This is my dedicated stitching room. But I also stitch in the living room on the couch with my husband when we're watching TV. Just love the colors on this one, and the verse is so cute. Oh, that's that one. This one is a little sampler. This is by Mama Loves You GB. She's got several now that I really like. This is Susan Eccles. It's on 40 count tumbleweed Verdal. And it's done in Vicki Clayton silks. It's the first time I used Vicki Clayton silks too. And loved them. Just loved them. Real pretty little sampler. Pretty colors. I love the border on this one. Another really fun stitch. That urn that it's in. All those colors in there. Oh, loved it. I loved stitching that. And the peacock, of course. He was great. But real pleased with that one, too. I'm going to finish it one of these days. FFO it. This is a real current one, I know. I just finished this one not too long ago. I don't think I put my date. See, I don't think I even signed this one. But this was a special, exclusive, I guess I should say, from one of the stitching stores, and I don't remember which one, through that special Facebook group. They come out with maybe 2 or 3 times a year, different stores sponsor, different designers work, and they're exclusives from those shops. This is a Scarlet House, and it's a sampler for all seasons, done on 36 count Steinbeck by Linen and Flax, and it's called for overdyed floss. And this is really, you know, the wide one with the 4 seasons. Another great fun stitch. Just, I love wording. I love the band in the center, those bands. I just love them. Flower bands. A lot of fun to stitch. It turned out beautiful. Now this one needs to be framed, so that might be a while. We're getting down to the bigger guys. It'll be over soon, ladies. I think I mentioned in my last video that this big wall, and I've moved over so you're not looking at this big empty wall. It's a little bit better this way. You at least get to see my window, but I'm going to have half of this wall, I'm hoping, as Christmas samplers, especially if they're Christmas reproduction samplers. I also want a section that's my red samplers. And somewhere in here, and it's a long wall, so I'm hoping I can do this in. The little girls, the samplers with the little girls, I'd love to have a section of those too, maybe in the middle to divide the other 2 sections. But this one is the first one I stitched for my Christmas sampler wall. And it's Anne Roth by Northumberland Sampler House. And again, she's got some beautiful samplers too. It's on 40 count for doll, autumn blush, and it's called for DMC threads. And this one has got, let me put it on my board here. I can see it myself a little better. And it's the Christmas verse. It's for unto you a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Perfect. Perfect Christmas sampler. Doesn't look like a Christmas sampler. Colors are, that's pretty true right there. You know, pinks and lavenders, pretty greens, celery greens, purple. But the beautiful Christmas verse. Love it. Just love it. Oh, we have another blackbird. This is kind of recent too. I think this is the last year or so. This is Merry Christmas by Blackbird, 40 count, mystery linen again, unfortunately. It's 19, or I'm sorry, what did I have on here? Oh, the year is 1951. I put my birth year on here. I guess I wanted to advertise how old I am. And let's see. Trying to make this a little clearer for you. I'm sure you ladies have seen this, but this is on 40, so move it a little closer so you can see it. You know, every one of their charts is a pleasure to stitch. Just no matter how many color changes, how many little doodads, how many whatever, they're always just so worthwhile in the end. This one I think was just maybe last year, not too bad. This is Though He Seemeth Sleeping by Lucy Beam. It's on 46 count Bergen linen, color of Solo. And this was done in the called for 103 silks. Love stitching with those. We're going to work all the kinks out of this video thing eventually, you know. I still don't know how to edit. I did figure out how to not have these all backwards for you, which is a good thing. So when I have time, I'm going to sit down and read about editing and putting notes in the drop-down box. I'm not sure at all how to do that. I am technically challenged, so, you know, I don't promise anything real soon happening with getting those things squared away, but I will work on them. That's my baby there. There's one of my hat samplers. This is Mary Eliza McMillan, 1869. She's on Legacy Linen Corn Tassel, 37 count. And this was done in the regular Swallow-Duché, I believe. I don't think this was 103. I don't remember. Well, they're silks, no matter what. There we go. This is another great, just love hat samplers. Hands Across the Sea, if I'm shortening that for somebody who doesn't know what that means. Very colorful. This is another hats, I thought it was. This is Martha Dawson by Hands Across the Sea. It's done on 37 count Legacy Corn Tassel, and this one's done in DMCs. And I think color-wise, I think that turned out beautiful. They almost look like silks. Love the border. Had to do this one. Rosebud border. Oh my goodness. With the red house. You know, what's not to love? Just absolutely beautiful. And they did have doggies in this one. I did change the colors, I think. That was the only change I made to match one of my doggies. But isn't that pretty? Love that house. The best ones are yet to come. I'm trying to hurry through these. There's only a couple more here, and then I've got my big ones to show you. This is a Kathy Barrick. Also love Kathy stuff. This is London Zoo. It's done on 40 count vintage exemplar by Lakeside. And this one's done in the called for DMCs. And this one has got the greatest colors. These animals are just the neatest colors. And I'm a big animal lover. Not just doggies, anything that's furry or not. I don't even care. I just love animals. The little skunk. Oh God, the little camel, the giraffe. Just precious. Every cutesy animal. Who doesn't love the hippo? That's the London Zoo. Okay. This is the big girl. I'll put this on the board right away, I think, because this is going to be hard to see otherwise. This is All Creatures Great and Small by Barbara Anna Designs. It's on 40 count something, and it's done in over-dyed cottons. This goes back a ways. I stitched this a while ago. There's my baby. Did I put the year on this? Oh, I put my birthday on it again. I must be really proud that I'm that old. I don't know. 1951. Oh. And this, with all the animals in this one again, it was so much fun to stitch. And the colors and just the way she has the motif set. Oh, just loved it. Still love it. I was so surprised when I pulled this out and said, oh my God, I forgot about, a lot of these I have even forgotten I stitched. It's a shame. I better frame them soon with what they are and who the designer was, because the way my memory is going, I will forget sooner than later what these actually were. So I did enjoy this. This one is way old, I know. Here's a story with this one. I really, really had trouble finishing this one. It's Quakers and Quilts by Rosewood Manor, and I am quite a quilter. It's done on 36 count something, and I did this in Valdani thread, and I hate to say I don't like something, but I had such a difficult time with this. I don't know if it's because it was sorry. I'm sorry. I hit my own table and knocked my phone over. I can't even blame my dogs. They're not in the room. Anyway, back to my story. I used Valdani threads on this. And the beginning, again, is that I'm a top center starter. So it wasn't really too bad in the beginning. But as I got down farther and had to start doing a lot of, the alphabet, one color, couple of little motifs, in different colors there. Didn't notice that it was too difficult. There are a lot of specialty stitches bands in here. That was a lot of fun, and again, a lot of color change. This even wasn't too bad. I got down to the quilt blocks down here. And a lot of this is back stitch and single strand back stitch. Very delicate, intricate, little curly cues and flowers, and you can see it up close, but it's a lot of detailed once it got into these quilt blocks. And that's what attracted me to the chart, and I do love it. But the Valdani threads, I had so much trouble with them shredding that by the end of this, I didn't care if I ever saw it again. I just wanted to finish it because I will finish it. I'm a fanatic. Once I start something, unless I really don't like the chart when I get started, I'm going to finish it, and I loved this. There wasn't a lot of quilting charts at the time that I thought, were really worth the effort. So I just love this. I just wish I had been able to do it in different threads. I just remember fighting with this pretty much from midpoint down. And it was a rough stitch. I haven't used Valdani since, and this was done several years ago. Whether they're better now or not, I don't know. But boy, I remember that being a real chore to stitch. But it looks beautiful. I mean, the threads are gorgeous. This one, this is M.E. Poole, 1859, by Samplers Forever. It's on 36 count something, and I don't know what this is, but God, this is gorgeous linen. It's done in overdyed cottons. And this is kind of a ghosty project too. I picked this linen because it had the same colors as the sampler, and I thought, oh my God, this is gonna look so beautiful. And I think it does. I think it really, really is pretty in person. I don't know that it's really picking up too much of the prettiness on camera. I just think it's a lovely sampler. So that was her. Now this one has a story. This one I stitched many years ago. And at the time I stitched this, my husband's best friend is an Italian man that lives in Boston. And he is one of the best people I've ever met in my life. He's just a wonderful man. So my husband's best friend, they've known each other for years. And right now, since this past Thanksgiving, he has been hospitalized. He's gravely ill. He's lost a lot of the use of his legs, his speech. He can't eat, and just about every, he can't really communicate. And the worst part of it is, even though this has been since last Thanksgiving, the doctors don't know what he has. They're treating him for Lyme disease because it has the paralyzing effects of Lyme disease. But they also think it might be ALS. And if it's ALS, it's not curable. If it's Lyme disease, it's a long process, but it is curable. They still can't decide. They said they are treating him for Lyme disease and hoping that that is going to make a difference. According to family members in Boston, he is showing very slight improvements. He's not getting worse, at least. So we just pray for him every day. Anyway, to get back to that, the reason this sampler makes me think of him is because he's the only person I know in Boston. And when Sal has been here visiting with us, I love his accent. And he's a very humorous person, tells great stories, but he's got that heavy Boston accent, and he's Italian. So it's the combination of the Italian stories, gestures, and the Boston accent. And I know he's told us stories about lobsters a lot. He loves lobsters. And lobster rolls, I guess, or sandwiches that they have. Anyway, there's a big pink lobster on this sampler. And when I saw this the other day when I was going through things, and I had pretty much forgotten about this one. This one had been stored in my closet in here, where my the next two samplers, I'm going to show you the last two, were stored, and they're like my favorite samplers, and the ones that were supposed to be first in line to be framed. But I saw this one and thought of Sal, and just made me want to, ask anybody who has a minute to say a prayer for him, and hope that he snaps out of this soon. My husband is devastated. And we just hope for the best for him. Even if it's a long road, at least if he's heading in the right direction, we don't care how long it takes. We just want him to get better. But this one is actually Lissy Sloboda, 1828. It's by a pattern company called Hawkins House, and it's on 46 count something with overdyed cottons. And it's just a real pretty light cream linen. But this was another one of those when I saw this chart, and it's not something you see everywhere. The colors, and is it the lobster? Who doesn't want to stitch a lobster? Oh my God. These beautiful borders, different borders. The colors are just lovely. And get a little closer with this one so you can see. Sorry, I'm kind of peering over this. I'd like to make sure you get to see. There's the lobster. And just some really unusual motifs on this one. Just so interesting. So much fun to stitch. And again, those beautiful borders. Oh, that's my Lissy. Now we've got two more. This next one is pretty current. This is for my red sampler wall. This is the first one I finished for my red sampler wall. I showed you last time, my first video, the large red sampler that I'm working on right now. It's just huge. That one's going to be the centerpiece of red sampler wall. But this was my first one I actually finished. That one it's going to be a while. That was my 2-year-ago birthday start, and it's halfway done. So this one is 7 red alphabets, and it's by Needlework Press. My love, on 46 count Zweigart flax. It's done with Thread Gatherer Silken Colors Cherry Fields red thread. And I think this one, again, it's so wide. But you've probably seen this chart. Oh, this was so much fun to stitch. This is my first red, and it was just the best. I don't know how many of you ladies are into red samplers or into stitching, you know, monochrome samplers, whatever color you choose. Being Polish, I'm very, very addicted to red. But what a pleasure to work on something that's just one color. I don't mind a lot of confetti stitching. As I said, you know, the more doodads, the more whatever color changes, the more beauty. But something like this, you can't deny the beauty in just a solid color, beautifully done by the original stitcher. I love it. So that will go on red wall, proudly. This one is my piece de resistance. This is a chart that my husband bought me for Christmas a number of years back. And I finished it, I believe, the following year. It did take me quite a while, but I believe it was, you know, within that next year. And I probably started it right after Christmas. I don't know. Let me look before I don't remember if I put a date on this one. I don't think so. I think I remember looking at this when I pulled it out the last time and said, gee, I never did sign this, so it's not really completely finished. But this is even way too big for this board. But this is by Scarlet Letter. It's Eleanor Parr. You've probably seen the chart. Eleanor Parr 1816. It's done on 46 count something. And it's done all in Gloriana silks. What a pleasure to work with Gloriana silks. The vibrancy on these silks are just beyond anything that I've ever worked with. That's not just the top part of Eleanor. Now let me move her down a little bit to the little girls. Again, we have little girls. Love little girls on us. These birds were just so much fun to stitch. And this was one of those very rare samplers. I so badly wanted this to be something that every time I looked at it, I'd think of my husband, because he bought this for me. I didn't want any mistakes in this. And I can say that I did this border, I did this entire piece, and I wasn't off a stitch. And I know that's because my honey was involved. He was rooting for me the whole time. Isn't that just? And, you know, being a stitcher, every stitcher loves birds. I don't know what it is about birds. Maybe it's the color. I don't know. We love birds. We love anything with birds on it. That's my big girl. Let's try to show you all. It's almost impossible. This is the biggest sampler I've ever done. And it's not like it was done on a large count. It's tiny, but it's just a big girl. That's her. So that's my FFOs that I was brave enough to dig out, and those. And thank you for wasting your last 45 minutes or whatever looking at my FFOs. But it was a labor of love to pull those out and look at them again, and just made my heart feel good. So that was the FFO parade. I do have some haul. If we'd like to look at some haul, I did get one of my pre-orders from Market. So I do have a few. I have quite a bit of that. And I also have a few things that I bought that weren't necessarily Market, but have come in the last couple of weeks. So we can go through those pretty quick. I'm sure a lot of you have seen these. I don't know if there's ladies that are doing market rehashes, you know, what they purchased, whatever. But so we'll go through these kind of quick because they've been online. This is one, I haven't gotten this chart yet. I did get my pre-order from one of the shops I made a purchase from. I'm still waiting for the other one to come in. I think there's actually 2 more coming. This is Harriet Turner. I don't have the sampler yet because it's coming from one of those other shops. This is a picture of what the Harriet Turner sampler is going to look, and I think everybody is in love with this. The reason I'm showing you just a picture of that is because I got floss for it that are silks, and this was done with, it's a new silk to me. I don't know if it's a new company, but I've never used these silks before, actually ever heard of them before, until I saw that they were doing their own conversion for this particular sampler, and I love the sampler, so I thought, oh, I would just love those linens. This is cascadehouse.com.au. It's from Australia. It's Cascade House, CASCADEHOUSE, one word, .com.au. And these are the silks for that chart. They're just luscious. To me, these look like and feel like the Glorianas. When I got the Glorianas, I thought I had died and gone to heaven. Just absolutely beautiful, soft, shiny silks. And when the lady from this company sent these to me, she had sent me a text message and asked if I would let her know what I thought of the silks after using them. So it led me to believe that it is a new company, or maybe it's a new, you know, she hadn't done silks before. I'm not sure. But I told her I'd be, you know, more than happy to let her know what I thought of them. And I love them already. I haven't even unwound them. I love them. I'm not sure if she still has these, or, you know, but you might want to check it out if you've ordered that chart. And almost every person I know of has ordered that chart. So that's that one. This one, I don't believe, no, this isn't from Market, but this is something that came in, something I ordered, and it came in, and I have my linen and the 103s for it. It's Mary Carr, 1840, and this is by My Love Needlework Press. And I believe, let's see, so this is, see what the linen is they called for here. Of course, I don't see it right off the bat, but I do have the 103s, and the linen is in here. I believe that this is either 40 or 46 count. Just gorgeous colors. Oh, look at these. Look at these floss colors. Oh my God, on that linen. There are so many squirrels running around in my room right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. Something new is going to have to be started soon, because I just can't stand having all of these lovely things laying around and me not being able to stitch on them. So that was one of mine. Now these are, yeah, these are all Market pieces here, I believe. I got this one from Country Sampler because she had the floss bling and floss drops that matched. And this is Channing Street, and this was a special chart because it's the 100th chart. It's a memorial for Annie B's. It's their 100th chart, and the needle drop, or the floss drops, and the bling, and there's even a label to put on the back of your sampler. Fill out the information on it when it's done. So that was another red house. Oh my God, another squirrel. This was not a Market purchase either, but it's kind of funny because I came across this when I was looking for something else, one of the charts that I didn't have a name for, and this was in my my pile for some reason. It's October House, and it's Flosstube Friends, and I figure now that I am officially a floss tuber, I need to stitch this. So that was my haul. That was in a haul not too long ago. Then I kind of got a little crazy with Stacy Nash this time. I love everything she did, and I couldn't pick, so I just ordered all of them. So I'll go through these real quick. This is spring. Here, let me lay these down. This is Spring Basket Pin Keep. Try to get the glare off there for you. Cute. Oh my God. I've got a pin sitting here. I'm trying to move it out of the way. This is Big Blue House Pin Keep Drum. Oh, a blue house. I don't live in a red or a blue house. I have a yellow house, but I love them all. Sarah's sewing bag. No, it doesn't look like my house either, but I love stitching houses. Oh, this one, I've waited the longest time for this one to come out. Every time I go in Country Sampler in Spring Green, I see this, and the model, and Wonderful Life Pin Keep and Drum. It's a wonderful life. And that's the back of it. I guess this was an exclusive at one point. I know it wasn't available, so she's released it now. I'm thrilled. Birds and Bees Sewing Roll, Biscornu, and Scissor Fob. Look at these. Oh my God. You could probably see the squirrels running past. Squirrel. Spring Chickens Pin Keep. Come on. Oh my Lord. I did Deck the Coop, and it's actually downstairs in my quilt studio to be made into a little pin cushion, probably a Christmas ornament. I have a tree, a full tree I put here in my sewing room as all my cross-stitch ornaments. So, of course, I had to have this one, Matching Chickies. This is Pretty in Pink Pin Keep. Oh, another one. How can you not love that? Look at the spool. See the white spool up there she's got? It's cross-stitched, and then there's like the strands, kind of like the loose strands. Oh, just perfect, just perfect. This, I think, I have to say, is my favorite chart from Market. This is the first one I ordered. I wasn't, I didn't care if I bought nothing else, but I was going to have this one. This is called Beloved. Oh my God. This is Running with Needles and Scissors. Look at the birds on this. Talk about stitchers loving birds. Look at the border. Those birds are just gorgeous. That bird on the bottom is purples. Oh. Yeah. I'm going to have a real hard time not starting that one. I have the other two of these. Now we're into, needlework press. So I have the two previous pieces that this is from the set. This is Be a Friend. And the other two pieces are on the back. Be Exceedingly Diligent and Be Kind. I have both of those. I haven't stitched them, but I have both of those. And they're all delightful. Just delightful. This is another one I was going to have no matter what. Jane Bowen, 1837 Needlework Press. Look at that bunny. If that isn't Stitching Bunny, I don't know what is. Girls in Pink. Oh, yeah. And this one I had to get because, obviously, Christmas sampler. Again, this is Needlework Press along with GGR. It's a Christmas duo, 2 samplers. Both of these are in the chart. Great pieces. This one I ordered online. It wasn't part of Market, but I just did get it. It's from Samplers and Primitives. It's called the Bunny Quaker. Look at this little guy. The colors, pink, and I have always loved the combo of pink and brown. And he is just the cutest little guy. And a quick stitch. No excuses. One of these would be something like that is great for that morning stitch. You only have an hour or so in the morning before you actually start your day, and maybe having your first cup of coffee, and you just want something little to work on while you're drinking your coffee. I always keep something in here because this is where I have my coffee in the morning with my husband. And I usually have a small stitch that if I want to pick up something, it's not my big piece, I have to find where I was, and little quickie things like this, and I can get them done, in a couple of mornings. This one was not a market release, but it is part of my stash. I got Margaret Ferguson. Oh, and it's from Scotland. But this one, look at the border. I'm also an Outlander fan, and anything Scottish is just all of a sudden, something I fall in love with. That's Jamie's fault, for those of you who watch Outlander. Okay, that one. This is my other have-to-had. This is beautiful. This is the first one I've had of cross-stitch antiques charts. And this is, again, it has everything in the world that I love. It's all the animals. It's the beautiful red house. It's all the flowers. It's a gorgeous border. And this is called Oh Sweet Humility, Eliza Townsend's work, 1835. Look at this. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at those animals. Oh. And just one other thing I bought from Market. This was new colors. This is Purple Pansy, Wiener Roast, Ant Farm, Mud Puddle, and Strawberry Muffin. And these are Gentle Arts. I didn't open it, but they're the new colors. I thought, might as well put those in my stash. So, those were my Market pieces. At least for the time being. As I said, there are more to come. All the with thy needle and thread. We won't talk about that. My husband keeps waiting for the bomb to drop when they get here. Okay, that was that. What else do I have for you today? I actually think, let's see. Oh, plans. That's normally what follows. I do have, my whips over there that I will pick my next one for my next 2 week stitching. I do plan on doing that and keeping up with that. That's working real well for me. So right now we're going to do the 2 week at a time and keep up with that. Along the way here somewhere, I know we're going to have some new starts because of Market pieces, but that's for another day. I haven't, until they're all here and I can absorb them and, make that final squirrel decision before another one runs by. I probably will have a new start. The only other thing I have then, with all of the comments that I got from you ladies from the last Flosstube, and I haven't gone through them all, I will admit it. There were hundreds of them, and I haven't I've read a lot of them. I've commented to a lot of them. I will get to all of them, but I only have so much time that I can just sit and read along. Now that stitching bunny bags is becoming popular, and I truly want to keep up the quality of the things that I'm producing and the quantity also. I'd like you to have a selection of things when you go to my shop and not just have one or two items that, is all I had accomplished, which is why I'm going to hopefully keep on a monthly schedule. I'll probably post only once a month. Give me the entire month to work on stock, to build up a stock so we have a reasonable number of items on there before I post. Right now it's going to look like the beginning, just because of the way my video was. My first Flosstube was March 1st. So beginning of the month, is the way it's falling in line. I'm giving myself till April 1st or 2nd for my next release of items on stitching bunny bags. And I think that that's going to work out. And is it a couple days before, I'll let you know exactly what day they'll be listed and try to give you a sneak peek. One of the comments ladies mentioned was that it'd be nice to actually show you one of the project roles if you didn't see what was on with Brenda and Laura. These are the ones, I have some finished already now for the beginning of April. This is my project roll. And I know you didn't see because I had it on the side here, but those last couple of samplers that I've stored for a number of years, especially the Eleanor Parr, I just could not imagine folding up that sampler and putting it away and having it creased. You know, it's done in silks, and um, it was so much of my time, so much of my life, my love, my heart put into that piece that I just didn't want to fold it all up, crumble it up, and put it in a bag somewhere. So I did have that one rolled on a wrapping paper roll that I had. It was not quite long enough, but it did, you know, serve the purpose of me not having to fold it. So I did keep a lot of my big ones on there. That's what this is for. Um, it's so that you can either store your pieces in here until you're ready to take them to the framers. It's for a work in progress if you want to do that instead of folding it up and putting it in a bag, although that's not damaging it. When a piece is finished and the piece is in silk, I'm a lot more careful about the way I store them, because I do plan on one of these days these pieces being framed and hung and hopefully, you know, passed down to my niece or nieces and nephews, whoever's going to want them in the future. Um, I hope they don't wind up all at Goodwill. But anyway, um, that's what this is for. Um, this is one of the extra long ones, and ladies were asking for this because just like those pieces, a lot of samplers are done on a fat quarter of linen. If they're any size at all, usually it's a fat quarter that the ladies are working on. So there's the two ribbons that tie it. Most of them will have these wooden buttons on them that are 9-hole buttons, so I cross-stitch them on. Of course, you know, they have to have cross stitches on them. And then the inside, this is fully quilted. This is all quilt shop grade fabrics. That's all I use. I worked at several quilt shops over the years. I worked at Country Sampler, and I have a tremendous stash of fabric downstairs. I also mentioned on my last video that I have eye issues. I have glaucoma, and my eyes are worsening all the time at my age. So quilting, you know, small quilting, piecing is very difficult for me now. I don't do a lot of that, but I still do quilt basics. So this is just, you know, pieces of fabric that are quilted in. I'm still able to do it. But the inside, so this will fit a fat quarter. They run between 20 and 21 inches wide, depending on the type brand of fabric. Some fabrics are, it seems like the Blackbird fabrics that I have are narrower. They're only maybe like 40 to 42 inches wide, where normally a quilt fabric will run 44 or 45 inches wide. So I can get two cuts of fabric out of those that are wide enough. So usually they're, you know, it's a good 20, 21 inches approximately wide. So, you know, to pretty much any, you know, fat cord is going to fit on here. These are about 30, I think these run just about 29 or 30 inches long. So it's again going to fully cover a piece. Let me grab one of my samplers here that's not one of these huge ones and show you what I mean. These are all the big guys. Yeah, this one's not too bad. So all you do, and you can lay several of these in there. This is sewn, so it's not going to come undone. The fabric is sewn down, hand sewn. You lay your piece on here, just like that. Can lay several on there, smaller ones on there, layer them, no problem. And with that sewing on there, you can kind of get the top of the fabric under the lip, and you just roll them up. And I said it'll hold as many as you want to put in there. You know, that's why there's ribbon. You know, you can tie it any length. You know, so if it's wider, you know, you're going to have more in here. It's going to, you know, not roll as tight. You've got a lot of long ribbon to cover it. So it's fully quilted. Oh, that's the tag from my linen, from my sampler. The ends are all finished. Quilted. No, they're not quilted. They're kind of fiber filled, and they're hand stitched in. So the ends are totally covered. And of course they have my Stitching Bunny Bags label, and my little bunny charm has to go in there. I did get some new labels, and a lot of the ones that are going to be in the next sale, will have the new labels in them, and they're off on the side. So I'm going to try to figure out some way I can put the bunny. I think I could still put my bunny charm on there, but they're going to be folded labels that'll be double-sided, and they'll be out on the side of the end of the roll. But that's how they work. That's what they're for. A lot of these, if I have enough fabric, I'd like to make a couple of sets that have a matching stitching bunny bag, project bag, tall project bag. They run, I think, 13 wide and 15 high, zipper on the top, just solid pieces. I don't piece them. Use the solid fabric just like these so that they match. The ones I've been making recently, they do have a little bit of lace trim and ribbon trim on them, so they do kind of match. And of course, they're a little girlier that way. Both sides of the project bag are foam interfaced, that foam interfacing that they use for bags, usually for tote bags or whatever, so that they're not floppy, so that they really almost stand up by themselves, although there's no flat bottom. They're, just like an envelope type project bag. I don't have any to show you at the moment. They're gone. But I'm working on making at least a couple of these with the matching project bags with them. So those will be online too. I have a lot of work to do before April 1st. So depending on how things go, I pretty much spend my day down there. I sew as long as I can, quilting these kind of in stages. It's a long process. The cutting is all done by me. The gluing, the object to the roll that it's on, all the making of the end caps and the quilting of the pieces, and the hand finishing, the ribbons, the buttons, all of that. It's a process, and it's all done by me. So if I just made one start to finish, it's a couple of days work for each one. Obviously I'm making them in bulk, so that's not the time frame, but they still are very time consuming. And so it's my daylight hours. I spend as much time as I want downstairs in the studio working on these, but once it's 7 o'clock or so in the evening, that's my time for my husband and I to spend the evening together watching TV with the doggies, and that's my cross stitch time. So as long as my eyes hold out in the evening, or if there's something that's, really interesting, and I'm watching TV more than I'm stitching, depends on how many hours I get in at that time. But I stitch as long as I want or as long as I can, and then that's, pretty much signals bedtime. And then at that point, I've had it. So that's pretty much my day every day. I do have a little part-time job, or it's not a job, it's a fun thing. I have a friend that lives on the other side of my little town here, and she has a 13-year-old chocolate lab. And she works up in Baraboo and sometimes up in Black River Falls, which is really, a long drive for her. And it's a long day for the doggie. So I go and walk her doggie for her every day that she's at work and let her out. So that's the only thing I do in the morning. And then as soon as I get back from that, it's usually right before noon. I'm downstairs in the basement sewing, and I take a little time off to make dinner for my husband and eat. And I shouldn't say, but, usually I squeeze in a short nap because I'm old. And then as 7 o'clock rolls around, and it's our TV time. So I work every day at all of this, and I'm trying to keep up. And I have to thank you ladies again for your purchases, first of all, for your kind reviews, for another thing. I'm hoping everybody is pleased with them. I haven't had a review or a problem that anybody has contacted me about. I would certainly take care of it if that happens, but it pleases me that you ladies are happy with them, and it makes all the time and effort that goes into them worthwhile for me. I love it. I love doing it. I love making these pretty things for stitchers to have. I know how I love having stitching pretties, and I hope to expand the line if and when I can kind of catch up with these things. I have a few other things in mind I'd like to do, but I don't want to just have 2 or 3 of a lot of items. And, at this point, I'd like to just concentrate on the bags and the project rolls for right now. And maybe once summer comes or fall, um, I'll be able to branch out into other items. Anyway, I don't want this to turn into that much of a commercial. As the ladies asked if they wanted to see the project roll and see what it was used for. So I did want to show you that while I was still online here. And I think that that's pretty much it. I'd really like to thank you for joining me again. If you sat through this whole thing, bless your heart. I hope you found something that you liked. I hope you liked watching me. I'm sorry about the mishap with the phone falling. I'm working on a better system. At least my husband said I'm not looking at just a plain wall this time, or you're not looking at a plain wall. That was, that, and I got, hopefully everything wasn't backwards this time like it was last time. So baby steps. I'm learning. I'm trying to take time to figure this out. I still haven't figured out how to add notes or anything. Ladies were saying, though, I just thought of that they had trouble finding my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop is Stitching Bunny Bags, all one word, .etsy.com. That's all it is. It'll come right up to my shop, stitchingbunnybags.etsy.com. That's all you need to do. Right now there's nothing on there, but that is my Etsy shop. So hopefully you won't have any other trouble with that. If you have any questions about anything I showed, if there's something I can answer for you or more information I can find out other than what type of linen, because I just don't know. If there's something else you'd like to know or questions you have for me, feel free, please. I love reading the comments, and I am going to start catching up with them. It just took me by such surprise that I had hundreds of comments after the last video. Anyway, that does it for me for today. I hope you all have a great 2 weeks. I should see you 2 weeks from today. And stitch every day. Love you, girls. Bye-bye.